updated Cybertruck prototype was recently spotted in Palo Alto, California yesterday. I apologize for not covering it quicker, but it was just brought to my attention today, and there's already a few design changes that we can gather from previous beta prototypes. I'm not sure if this one qualifies as a gamma prototype just yet, but regardless of what kind of prototype it is, there are changes. Probably the biggest, most noticeable one, though, is the side view mirrors, which, yes, Tesla's original Cybertruck prototype didn't have any, but for legal reasons they have to include them on the Cybertruck. But depending on where you live in the country, you may actually be able to remove them after you take delivery, which Elon has referenced trying to make that very easy with the Cybertruck to increase aerodynamics and better efficiency. These, in my opinion, go a lot better with the overall aesthetic. Some people might not like the functionality compromise because they certainly look smaller. They're more triangular and sharp, so they kind of go with the whole Cybertruck aesthetic. But being a bit smaller and maybe a bit less functional definitely improves their aerodynamic drag and absolutely aligns with the concept art we had seen before from Alwinart, who, in my opinion, came up with the best Cybertruck side view mirror design out there. And it's not confirmed that they were inspired from his design, but I just feel like we should give him credit because he came up with that a long time ago, and now we're seeing it in the real world, and it looks pretty dang similar. Now, of course, there's some speculation on my end about this, like if Tesla was uncomfortable with the previous side view mirror design that we saw in earlier prototypes. Is it because they're really like watt-hour pinching? Not like penny pinching, you know, with the design. Like, how much aerodynamic drag do you improve on by making those mirrors a bit more triangular opposed to the more rectangular, larger side view mirrors that the Cybertruck had before? If they care that much about efficiency, if that just allows them to unlock a little bit more miles, does that indicate that this is more likely to be a 300-mile range Cybertruck? You know, if you were shipping it with a 180 or 200 kilowatt-hour battery pack, I don't know if you would care so much about the size of the side view mirror, but this is Tesla at the end of the day, so even if it was a 500-mile range variant, they would probably pay attention to little details like this. But my theory is that the first Cybertruck will still be a 300-mile range variant. Maybe they'll qualify this as the dual motor and claim that down the road we'll do a 500-mile range quad motor, but Tesla, I think, could probably rightfully assume that all Cybertruck buyers that are interested, whether it's the 500-mile range or the 300-mile range, they would buy the first generation Cybertruck, even if that's not the trim they want, because they would just rather have some kind of pickup truck that has the exoskeleton and has supercharging access, which no other pickup truck has right now. And then down the road, those people will just sell their 300-mile range Cybertrucks and upgrade to the 500-mile range once it becomes available. There's already people buying regular Teslas right now to hold them over until their Cybertruck is ready. So considering the current energy density of 4680 cells, I think it's pretty likely that Tesla would start with a lower range variant and wait until they can ramp 4680 cells with higher energy density before they do the 500-mile range. But there's other design differences we should take note of in this picture as well. Like, the general consensus I've seen from a lot of comments and replies from people seeing it is just something looks off, like it looks bad or it looks weird. And I definitely think the back, like, tailgate angle of the Cybertruck has always looked the worst, but something definitely felt a little bit off with this prototype. So again, don't expect this necessarily to be the production model, but the diffuser seems a bit bigger and a bit bulkier than the original prototype, and the tailgate certainly feels like it's not as tall, or the proportions aren't the same as before, which makes me wonder if they're going with a bit of a narrower tailgate design, and maybe that helps with the exoskeleton production process in some way. But I'm hoping they don't compromise on the ramp design, because I thought that was a really, really cool perk of the Cybertruck, just building a ramp into the tailgate when you fold it down so you can take your ATVs or your motorcycles just straight up into the bed. It's not like impossible with this updated tailgate, it just might be a bit more of a steep incline, and that black bar on the top of the tailgate that used to house the brake lights definitely feels a lot bigger, and the brake lights feel a bit less centered than they did in the prototype. Not sure what the advantages of that are. My guess is just overall using less steel or having to do less with the steel overall when it arrives to Giga Texas is what helps Tesla out the most. That's why they want to ditch things like door handles and the charge port doors being built into the wheel well, no longer having a dedicated steel door that has to open up. The other highlight that I think is a good sign is the tonneau cover appears to be like in mid-use. I don't know if it was actually halfway done being rolled down or something, but Rivian's had a lot of issues with their powered tonneau cover, and they've basically just given up on it, so all new Rivians don't have powered tonneau covers. F-150 Lightning, you have to, I guess just go with a third party. Hummer EV doesn't really have one either. So I guess the Cybertruck might be one of the first electric pickup trucks to actually get a powered tonneau cover right. We'll see if it can age or stand up to the elements a bit better than Rivian's did, but in my opinion, it's still a very crucial feature because it helps a lot with aerodynamics and efficiency, which if Tesla's tweaking the side view mirrors for better aerodynamic drag, then making sure that every Cybertruck can ship with a powered tonneau cover that can seal up and allow for better range, I think that's a big win for everybody. And the only other massive difference I noticed with this prototype is it feels like the air suspension is either broken or perhaps testing some kind of range mode. I know Tesla doesn't typically have drive modes labeled in specific ways, but with the Model S and X at least, because those have air suspension, they encourage you to cruise at the highway with your suspension lowered down because that's better for your aero. And I feel like what might be going on with this prototype vehicle is they are lowering the suspension a lot, and maybe that has something to do with the tailgate overall being narrower so that the Cybertruck has a very low coefficient of drag. Hopefully that allows it to get better range than any other electric truck on the market right now, but it sure does kind of look ugly when the back half is dropped down quite a bit compared to the front half, which makes sense because that back slope of the Cybertruck is definitely a lot longer than the front slope, and because of the Cybertruck's flush frunk to windshield design, that means that they can get the front of the vehicle a lot lower to the ground, which helps a bit with aero. So that's like my best guess looking at this image, is that they're tweaking with the suspension system to see how little aerodynamic drag they can get the Cybertruck, but the end result is it looks kind of ugly and it looks kind of bizarre in this non-aggressive, efficiency-focused stance. But I definitely think Tesla's kind of in the clear of too much judgment when it comes to the Cybertruck design because they've gotten so many reservations for it. Tons of people are waiting on it. Definitely has more hype surrounding it than any other vehicle I've ever seen. So if you're comfortable with the design because of the functions and utility that it enables, then Tesla knows, okay, it doesn't really matter if we make it a bit uglier for the sake of manufacturing efficiency or range. People will justify it because it looks so weird and it's like CGI in real life. But it should be noted, this is definitely not a production model because, again, this was spotted in Palo Alto and Tesla's not building the production model Cybertrucks there. They are doing all of that in Giga Texas. So this is likely still beta prototypes. They mentioned Cybertruck prototypes on the last earnings call, saying that they're still hand building some models and that kind of thing. So I'm still thinking they're testing things out before they go into fully fledged mass production, but it does give us an indication of what the latest prototype or latest generation Cybertruck is currently shooting for, and hopefully Tesla stays true to their word and we get at least some kind of limited production later this year. But Elon still warned us at the last earnings call that they expect volume production for the Cybertruck to begin in 2024. Don't expect too much meaningful volume in 2023, which in my view means if there's very little supply and there's tons of demand, they can charge whatever they want, and they probably will. I hope I'm wrong on that though. It would be great if Tesla decided, hey, we need the Cybertruck to qualify for the federal tax credit, so let's get it under $80,000, but I just don't think it makes financial sense for the company when I know for a fact they could sell dual motor 300-mile range Cybertrucks for 120 grand a pop and there would still be a huge line of people willing to buy it. People that would fly to the factory to pick it up and drive it home themselves, and even if they want the 500-mile range, they'll just sell their old Cybertruck when the time comes because, again, supply is going to be super limited and demand is going to be crazy high. So even if 90% of reservations cancel, it's not the end of the world. There's going to be enough people to buy really expensive first-generation Cybertrucks, but of course, the better models are yet to come. But for any new possible rumors or leaks surrounding the Cybertruck, I'll be sure to cover them for you here. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.